What's up, everyone? This is Dale from Upstate Bets and DFS. I'm here with my partner Reoz, bringing you guys this two-game NFL slate here on Christmas Day. So, if you're excited for the NBA Christmas games and you're excited for these NFL Christmas games, the best thing about Prize Picks is you can mix and match these two together. Take my man Aaron Rodgers, he's the cover boy here. For over 249 passing yards, you can mix that up with LeBron James, who's at half a point over in the NBA slate. That's a nice two-pick power. The most you can throw in that is 25 bucks. So, unfortunately, you can't just throw $500 on it and whatever you want to do. But 25 is the cap, but it's a nice way to make a little bit of money. We'll see if we do see some NFL props get a little bit of discount because PrizePicks does do that. Awesome app. If you haven't joined yet, you can sign up using promo code Upstate. I know that sometimes that your season-long leagues might be ending soon. You guys might have got booted from the playoffs, might not have made the playoffs. This is an awesome time to get into DFS, and PrizePicks is the way to go, man. PrizePicks is a very simplified app, and it's a nice way to enjoy the playoffs for NFL and definitely get into the swing of NBA because we post NBA daily. You're in the right spot. You're in the right hands for that. If you sign up using promo code Upstate, you get a 100% deposit match. So if you put in 100, you get 100 back to play with. So awesome way to start. We do offer some premium content over on Patreon as well, and Riaz is going to tell you about that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great time to sign up for the Patreon. Definitely, like Dale said, if you're not in the playoffs anymore for your season long leagues and this is just a whole new market. DFS, this Prize Picks, is pretty new to us. It just came out in New York this year, and Prize Picks is an awesome app, and we've been taking advantage of it. I mean, it's an incredible site, and you can sign up at Patreon at Upstate Bets and DFS or www.patreon.com/upstate.
Yeah, amazing, man. Awesome way to get into DFS. Awesome time, especially with these Christmas games and for both sports. So yeah, we're gonna dive right into this, man. So we got three quarterbacks here. We're still dealing with the Cleveland Browns issues. We're not sure if Baker's really gonna decide to play tomorrow. I'm not sure if he is listed as active at the time of recording this video. However, we don't have a line for him yet, so I think they're still, trying to work out these lines and see what's going on. But for here, these three passing yard guys, I think the best one to me, obviously I already said it, Aaron Rodgers, cover boy. 5 out of the last 5, averaging 318 in his last 5. Looks so good in this game against Cleveland Browns, especially if they do get a little bit healthy, if they get Jarvis Landry returning. Kareem Hunt's supposed to be back as well, obviously if Baker's there. The Browns are an iffy team from time to time, though. They could be very good on defense, and then they could just give up a bunch of points, so they're really back and forth this season. They sit about middle of the pack. And Aaron Rodgers, though, I mean, between him and Devontae Adams, the connection is unreal. Not much to say about that. If we do get a discount on here, this is even better. But I think at 249.5, Aaron Rodgers looks amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, and I'm really kind of waiting for this Cleveland Browns line for Baker or Nick Mullins. I just really want to see where it's at. I mean, we saw Mullins last Tuesday, I believe. His line was pretty low. It was under 200, and he went out and had a pretty decent game. Um, and now that Baker Mayfield is back, he got removed from the COVID, the safety protocol. Very very curious to see where that line is. This Green Bay defense really doesn't scare me, but not going to talk about it until it's out. If it is out, they'll probably be on the Patreon, so definitely check that out. And just with these two quarterbacks, Carson Wentz and Kyler Murray, I don't know if I'm going to get to Kyler Murray just on the fact that I do really like Aaron Rodgers. I think Dale touched on it perfectly. 251 and a half just seems like a lot against this Colts defense, and Carson Wentz under 200. That's not a bad line to look at, but we just saw the last game he had 57 yards passing. They just like to do it on the ground with Jonathan Taylor, so not any lines I'm particularly going after.
In the rushing yards, man, we got obviously Nick Chubb looks really good at the top, but then again, we're monitoring that Kareem Hunt news. I'm not sure if he's officially active yet. I don't want to give any false narrative here. However, between Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, not a spot that I'm definitely going to be going to at all. Those two, that's just like they're splitting touches at this point in the season. Dillon looks really good as a back, but I know Jones is viable to smash any given week. And I've been on some quarterback running props lately, and Carson Wentz is probably the guy here that honestly looks really good. I mean, I know Murray can do it with his legs, but he's been banged up. But between the quarterback props, I'm saying specifically Carson Wentz, I think he looks a little bit better than Murray to me.
Yeah, I mean 10.5. That's such a nice little discount from Kyler Murray. But we can definitely see Kyler Murray go out there and definitely scramble around and hit that line. But um, I like James Conner here. He hasn't been really rushing like we would have expected. He's hit two out of the last three, and kind of a couple matchups you would have think he would have smashed going against Detroit. He had 39, but um, definitely a line that doesn't scare me. 45 and a half. We've seen him get over that against Chicago, who's got a pretty decent defense, and Seattle, we know their defense isn't that great, especially against the run. He had 62, but I think this is going to be a really close game. I think they need to get James Conner involved more than just the goal line touches. We know his touchdown prop this year has been unbelievable. It's just been like pretty much every single game like Joe Mixon was. So I don't know if I'm going to be getting to Jonathan Taylor over 100.5, but it seems like any given week, Jonathan Taylor can get over 100 yards rushing.
For me, for James Conner, I really like him in the fantasy score department. We'll talk about that when we get over there. Me on JT here. I mean, I love it, man. It's hard to fade realistically. I mean, he's 40 above what they got him projected here in his last five. I mean, it realistically at this point, 100 seems like a discount for JT. I mean, what do you have him on your screen? I haven't like refreshed this yet. Is he still at 105? 105?
Yep.
Okay, well, 100.5, I should say. But realistically, I mean, just in terms of volume and the fact that the thing that does scare me a little bit is Carson Wentz hasn't been throwing the ball that much. If they do trail in this game, I mean, they could take a little bit from Taylor on that, but realistically, I mean, the team excels when he gets 20, 25 carries. Elite among one of the best in the league, and I think he does look good realistically, but I can see where you're coming from where it does look high.
Yeah, I mean, is there anybody else you wanted to touch on?
Not really in the running back department and receiving yards. Who looks good to you over here?
I'm gonna take a stab at one of these Arizona wide receivers, just with no DeAndre Hopkins. We saw AJ Green start to get it going last game, and he's definitely viable. I mean, three out of the last five, and the two that he didn't hit is just very discouraging. Four against Carolina, 14 against Chicago. But the last two, I mean, if you're getting 102 yards receiving against the Rams, that's just incredible. And then 64 against Detroit. So AJ Green might be the guy just getting the discount from Kirk at 54, but he's also hit the last two. So I think either one of these guys is a great play, but I like the discount more with AJ Green.
We know what AJ Green can do as a receiver. He's a really talented wideout here in Arizona so far. Kirk saw the more targets last game. He saw 12 targets compared to AJ Green's 9. Realistically, I think that could flip flop. I don't want you guys to think that Kirk is just going to get significantly more targets here because I believe that they're going to get the same amount of targets in this game. I mean, one might excel more than the other, but I think both are extremely viable. Kirk can give you a little bit more of a big play, I think, but then again, AJ Green, I think, is just pretty consistent. Realistically, both hit out of the last two, but either guy, I mean, they realistically can both hit the over, but either guy looks pretty good here. And then we were on Pittman receptions last week, and that really burnt us. He had a really bad game against New England, but I mean, who hasn't this year so far, New England's been awesome on defense, and I mean, that Houston game, Houston's a bad team, but 52, it doesn't scare me that much just as how good Pittman's been this year, but the fact that, Carson Wentz has just been struggling in the passing game is what scares me more about Pittman. Not his talent, but realistically Carson Wentz's struggles. So, anyone else here? Ertz looks pretty decent. Then you guys, someone like Jack Doyle down there can catch one or two balls, and then, let's Devonta Adams. Like, what do you think about any of those guys?
Yeah, I definitely don't mind Devontae Adams at 82 and a half. I mean, tough game against Baltimore. That is what it is, and just fell short against Seattle. But he's just an incredible talent. He just sees 13, 14 targets almost every single game, and he's definitely a guy that just like Cooper Cup, but he's just shown more than just this season. He can go out there and get 100 yards receiving in a half. I mean, in three quarters, he just has that big play upside, and he just runs those routes just perfect. Where Aaron Rodgers just always seems to find him. So definitely don't mind that prop at all.
I think that one looks really good, and I think if you want to do a little bit of a correlation stack between Rodgers and Adams, that looks nice. No Connor receiving yard like right now. I wish we saw one because he's a guy that does get peppered from time to time in the passing yards, but over in receptions, touchdowns, passing touchdowns, there's not many guys here. A couple guys per category. Why don't you run us down the list, Riaz, and let us know who you like.
Yeah, for receptions, definitely Pittman Jr. Just the volume of targets he sees, I don't see why he can't get to five receptions. His line's sitting at 4.5. Just like NBA, we talk about volume for 3-point shooting and points, and that's what you see with Pittman Jr. The volume is just incredible, and I think he has a better matchup here against Arizona than he did with against New England. And then for touchdowns, I can definitely see Chubb finding the end zone, passing or receiving. He looked phenomenal on Tuesday against the Raiders. Definitely a nice little play here with Chubb. And then for passing touchdowns, we just have Kyler Murray. Don't love it. If Kyler Murray was 1.5 for touchdowns, I would prefer that more than him having two passing touchdowns.
And then, I mean, in the Patreon, I talked about a passing completion prop that I did like last week. Carson Wentz here in the pass completions. It doesn't stick out to me realistically. I mean, he had that 27 against Tampa Bay, and that was in a game too where Jonathan Taylor did rush for a lot of yards. So they can both do it as well. I mean, between Jonathan Taylor, I mean, he can break a big one at any time. Chubb, I really do like the touchdown there. I mean, realistically, he gets a lot of goal line work. Hunt could scare me a little bit if he does come back, maybe seeing some goal line passing work, but realistically, I like all your picks there. I think Kirk, to me, looks really well. The fact that he saw 12 targets last game, I think he looks really good here. He saw 9 against Detroit, 9 receptions. I think that he looks really good, especially if the Colts can get up early. We'll see what happens. And then in fantasy score, like I said, there's a couple guys here. One guy in particular that I really do like, but I'll save that one for the Patreon page. And then anyone here that you're on?
Yeah, I don't mind Aaron Jones. That 12.5 is definitely a really nice line for him. The fact that we've seen him hit the past two games has been very nice. And not only that, he's very involved in the passing game a little bit more than AJ Dillon. So we can definitely see him rip off 70, 80 yards rushing and without a doubt score a touchdown, either passing or receiving or rushing. Jones is just an incredible talent, and if Baker doesn't play, this could be a pretty big blowout. Green Bay looks phenomenal this year, and we know Cleveland is super up and down, so we can see Jones just really controlling the ball and just kind of clicking the time away. So I don't mind Jones here.
Yeah, and your man Pittman down here at 12, he's a guy that can really catch a deep ball. We haven't seen it recently in his games. We saw 17 against Houston and then 12 against Jacksonville. But, early on in the season was looking phenomenal. So a lot of guys here, a lot of people to talk about, but we've been rambling on for quite a bit. So I want you guys to just, dive into the slate a little bit yourself. I think this is an awesome slate. We already did our NBA video. That one's live. You can look at that. Like I said, you're able to mix and match sports. They got the LeBron James discount over there. If you're watching late at night, the Julius Randle at a point should still be up there, even if you're not an NBA guy. Those are really that's like free money they're giving you there on Prize Picks. So look into that. Have a really good Christmas with your family. I hope you guys enjoy all these games. It's going to be an awesome day, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Good luck, and thank you guys. Peace.